Well, as always, we're trying to fit stuff in on the property, and we actually have the truck loaded up. Normally we'd be taking the Ranger out here. It's a little bit easier, but we have everything loaded up to go fishing for the weekend with the family. So getting the entire family together, which I can't wait for. And but we got to get some stuff done before we leave. So we're all packed up and we're heading out to do some chainsawing. And I have a really cool spot here where we need to let sunlight into a new food plot. I'm going to talk about the entire strategy here. New food plot meaning last year, we call this the bench plot. We had some really good video of LL beams here. The broken buck I shot was here. So we're going to get down here and improve this. And let's jump out of the truck. Little Miss Jen is filming. Got Jackson Lily in the truck, and we're going to get some stuff done on the way to northern Minnesota. You know, we're coming out here to chainsaw, and I have to mention, you know, there's sometimes we're guilty of this too, but we're out on the side-by-side. We have our chainsaw press there, and there's a log across the trail or a tree that fell, and I have to admit sometimes I don't get all this safety gear on, and that's a very bad thing. Right, Jen?
It's not good.
Well, and Jen doesn't get too happy at me either, so I try not to do that. I always carry this stuff in the side-by-side with me, so it doesn't take that long to put on. And it's really important. You know, we neglect to do this sometimes, and it only takes one accident, and it goes a long way. So eye protection, helmet, chaps, very critical. I've worked with a lot of clients cutting. I used to cut on properties a couple dozen a year or more, and I had clients cut their pants. No blood was drawn, which is amazing, but I've had people cut their chaps and cut their bibs, and just always wear your safety gear. Now let's go do the fun stuff. Now we have this food plot here, and it cuts back into these trees right here behind this aspen. You can see we have our diversity pockets out here, and this entire side of the hill here. They used to farm it, which is crazy. There's actually a terrace right down there, right at the edge of the drop off, and it's no wonder that we're losing topsoil at such a high rate around here. And but thankfully they turned this back to pasture, and then just idle set aside land right now. So we're going to actually cut this strip of aspen down, and it's going to allow sunlight to get into the clover. Now the clover is shade tolerant. It doesn't mean shade proof. And even if you only get a couple hours sunlight on it a day, it doesn't grow much volume. So we need to I really want to get at least 4 or 5 hours of sunlight on this, and by cutting this out, we'll get a lot more. That'll increase the volume. And if anybody out there is telling you this product is shade proof or shade planting, shade proof food plot, whatever it might be, shady plot, really look at them with a heavy dose of skepticism, because there's really nothing that grows well in shade. And even clover, if it does grow well, it's so sparse that it doesn't even amount to a food plot. So we have all this aspen right over here. I mean, they're really sticking out. So I'm gonna cut a good portion of that right now, get some sunlight on it. We have our gilly blind over here. This is a pass-through plot, it's only a 1/4 acre. We have a large food plot in the distance, and then we have like we do in a lot of areas, we have a water hole right back there in between that we've had some really good hunts on it. So we'll get down here and improve this, let some sunlight in, that'll increase the volume. And we just established this last year, so it was pretty light going into the fall. It established a good base of clover. Now it's almost down to the dirt. It probably was down to the dirt sometime in November. And but we didn't have much volume going in because of drought, so this year it'll explode. We'll bring you a really pretty clover plot, clover strip here in the future. We'll probably frost seed this about at half rate, 4 pounds per acre with our perennial plot power. And we'll, you know, get this really thick by June, July. We'll have to mow it. So let's get down here and improve this. It's time to start checking out seed and food plot seed, wildlife blend seed right now. We have it available all year at purewildlifeblends.com, but we call it Pure Wildlife Blends for a reason. We use no junk, no fillers, no bad seed combination. I infuse 25 years of food plot and wildlife blends research into each and every product personally, what I've written about, web classes, hundreds of articles and videos. It's all here to help you out. But again, check out purewildlifeblends.com. It's a great time to do so. Well, mission accomplished. I'm gonna cut actually a few down right over here, but the midday sun comes right into here. So it blows right down the strip. We have an overhanging oak branch we need to get rid of. You know, but part of what we do here is we try to create a really good wildlife edge, a soft edge. So pockets of switchgrass here and there, diversity pockets, and then this entire cutting on this end will turn into thousands of shoots of aspen per acre. All of that is cover, browse, it's great grouse cover, food. So are all the rabbits out here? Turkey nesting up in this grassy area against the woods, perfect for that. So, you know, on one hand, we're trying to get more sunlight to this food plot. On the other, it helps a lot of critters out and a lot of different forms of wildlife, especially the bird species we're trying to promote out here. We have a lot of rabbits because of all the cover, but pheasant, turkey nesting, and grouse is always a focus, and this is something that accomplishes all of that. Not to mention, turkeys love browsing on this and foraging in the spring, feeding on this clover. Clover doesn't look like much, but we'll show you this later in June, July. It'll be thick and lush. And you can see this strip right here. It goes about 40 yards that way, and it still goes for about 80, 90 yards that way. We have a choke point right up there. There's some honeysuckle bushes, and it's between that gilly blind and the bushes. It's only like 26 yards. So it really constricts them down for a shot. We can shoot this whole thing with a gun, but that's not the point. We really try to set up everything for bow. And with videos that we get through coming, of the bucks coming through here during the daylight, the does, they don't even pay attention to that gilly blind up there. We get into that from behind, and you know, again, this points right over to a water hole, and then a big food plot up top over there, and then all kinds of bedding down below. You guys probably can't tell just how steep this is, but it goes straight down. I've actually walked down and back up this right here, and it's super steep. You can see all the way across the hollow. We own both sides of this hollow and then all the way up. So a lot of bedding's been created right down below. So it's a perfect complement. In fact, one of the main areas the deer come up is right over here, right in front of the gilly blind, which is, you know, everything we do here has a purpose to it, but they come up right here, they cruise back and forth. We get a lot of morning movement of deer coming off the fields or off the big food plots, transitioning out here and then bedding up high or on the benches just over the top. So strategy-wise, access from behind, this is more thick screening and cover. Really important that it faces the afternoon sun here and midday sun. That way we get the warmest time of the day for growing. It'll be nice and damp here in the morning hours with the dew. And we expect good things from this entire food plot. This is one more piece, you know, putting the pieces together to get this going for this deer season. And hope you enjoyed the cutting. You know, I like cutting. I've learned with this aspen, for one thing with the aspen, you got to completely cut it. That's always been a standard with that. I actually hinge cut a couple cherries in here, but aspen, you completely cut it because it suckers out of the root system, and that's approximately 7,000 to 8,000 shoots per acre. It comes out of the lateral root system. It doesn't come out of the stump. So if you hinge cut it, it's almost like a slow death. You're not really taking advantage of the resource of having all that regeneration out of the root system. So again, complete cut everything here, and I really like this because it's all mostly going perpendicular. So as this aspen breaks down, there's still a lot of holes even within these cuttings I just did right now for the deer to get back and forth this way. I never want to tunnel them in. That's typically a bad thing unless you're really constrictive habitat and there's not many other options. Deer don't like to be forced into tunnels. And this is one of those where we're giving them a wide range of food. They can escape in every direction. It'll be a hit with them this fall, and we can't wait to see if it's a hit for us this deer season.